I never thought I'd be the guy writing a story like this, but here I am. My name's Mark and I married Lisa about 6 months ago. We were high school sweethearts. She was the girl next door, the girl I knew I'd spend forever with. Everything seemed perfect at first, or at least that's what I thought. We went on a honeymoon right after the wedding, a week in the Bahamas, just us, some sun, some drinks, and that stupid, naive belief that now everything was finally settled. But from the moment we got back, something changed. Lisa started acting weird, avoiding me, snapping at small things, acting like I was invisible sometimes. I thought maybe it was just the stress of the wedding, or maybe she was tired. Still, I felt uneasy. Women don't just suddenly forget how to be affectionate. I brushed it off as paranoia, but deep down, I knew something was off. Then, about 2 weeks ago, I noticed her phone kept going off late at night. She'd rush to the bathroom or a different room, hide her screen when I came near, and she kept deleting messages. She told me it was just her friend from work, Sarah, who'd been texting her about wedding stuff. Bullshit, I thought. Lisa's a bitchy little thing, always quick to lie, so I didn't trust her. Still, I didn't have concrete proof. I just had this gut feeling that my wife was hiding something. Then came the day I found out I was right in the worst way. I was just minding my own business, scrolling through my emails, when I noticed a new message pop up on her laptop. It was from a number I didn't recognize. I hesitated, then clicked open. The message was from someone named Chris, and it wasn't about wedding plans or work, not even close. It was explicit, really explicit. They were talking about their secret meetings, about how she's so wild in bed, and how she loves the thrill of sneaking around. My stomach dropped. Lisa was cheating on me, on our honeymoon no less. I couldn't believe it. It was like being punched in the gut. My mind spun. How long had this been going on? Was it just during the honeymoon? Or longer? I remember feeling this sick, hollow feeling, like the ground was about to swallow me whole. I kept reading, trying to find some kind of explanation, some reason she'd tear me apart with words. Instead, she had lied, and now I was staring at proof that she'd been lying for months. What made it worse was that the guy, Chris, was her brother's best friend. I found that out later, but even then I felt like my world was crashing down around me. The guy she was screwing, he's been in our lives, around my brother, my friends, and I had no idea. I felt stupid, betrayed, angry, and so goddamn hurt. How could she? Why would she do this? After everything we'd been through, her bitchy attitude, her lies, her constant playing the victim, she still managed to keep this a secret. I was furious. I wanted to scream, to cry, to punch something. I felt like I'd been played for a fool, and I didn't even know if I wanted to stay married anymore. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind kept racing, replaying everything I'd seen and trying to piece together how long this had been going on. I kept asking myself if I missed signs, if I was blind, or if Lisa had just been a master at hiding her true self. The worst part was feeling like an idiot for trusting her enough to marry her, to go on that honeymoon, to believe in us. Now all of it felt like some sick joke. The next morning I decided I had to talk to her. I needed answers, even if I already knew the truth. I waited until she was in the kitchen pouring coffee, acting like everything was normal. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my voice steady. "Lisa, I need to talk to you." She looked up, her face already irritated. "What's wrong, Mark? You look like you saw a ghost." "Cut the crap," I said. "I saw your messages. I know what you've been doing. You've been cheating on me with Chris, haven't you?" Her eyes widened for a second, probably surprised I found out, or maybe just trying to pretend she wasn't caught. But then that bitchy smirk appeared, like she thought I was overreacting or that I'd forget. "Oh, please," she snapped, crossing her arms. "You're being dramatic. It's just sex, Mark. It doesn't mean anything. It's not like I love him or anything, just a fling, that's all." I couldn't believe how she dismissed it. Just sex. That's all it was. After everything we'd been through, I felt my blood boil. A fling? You're screwing your brother's best friend and you expect me to believe it's just a meaningless thing? I took a step closer. "You've been lying for months. How long has this been going on? During the honeymoon, before that?" She rolled her eyes. "God, you're so paranoid. You think I'm just gonna sit here and let you accuse me of bullshit? Maybe I was bored, maybe I wanted some excitement. Who cares? It's not like I'm leaving you or anything." That was the moment I realized she didn't care about me at all. She was just a selfish, bitchy woman who thought she could get away with anything. I was furious, but I also felt hurt, like someone had torn out my heart and stomped on it. How could she be so cavalier about my feelings, about our marriage? I wanted to scream at her, to tell her she was disgusting, but all I could do was stand there, trembling with rage and heartbreak. The thing is, I knew I couldn't stay quiet. I had to decide what to do next, but part of me was already planning her downfall. I'd caught her red-handed, and I wasn't going to let her keep lying to my face. Not anymore. The betrayal ran so deep that I knew I'd never trust her again. Every moment from here on out would be tainted with that betrayal. I had to figure out if this marriage was salvageable, or if I was better off walking away and never looking back. After that confrontation, things didn't get any easier. Lisa, of course, denied everything, said I was crazy, jealous, imagining things. She threw in that classic line about how I was overreacting, how she loved me but just needed some fun to feel alive again. I could see the smirk she kept trying to hide when she lied, like she enjoyed twisting the knife a little more. Honestly, I wanted to smash something. That bitch was so good at acting innocent, but the proof was right there in front of me. The worst part was that she kept changing her story. One minute she said it was just sex, no big deal, that she didn't mean to hurt me, just needed a break from the monotony. The next, she was crying, saying she felt trapped and she didn't want to lose me. It was all bullshit, and I could see right through it. She just didn't want to admit how much she'd lied and how deep her betrayal went. I kept asking myself how I missed all the signs. Was I really that blinded by love? Or was she just that good at hiding who she really was? I mean, she's a bitchy, manipulative woman who'd lie through her teeth without a second thought. I kept going over everything. Little things I ignored, moments I dismissed as her being bitchy. But really, she was hiding her true nature all along. Those late-night texts, the phone calls, the way she'd suddenly be distant or cold. I was naive enough to think it was just stress or her being tired. Turns out, she'd been sneaking around the whole time, right under my nose. Meanwhile, my head was spinning with questions. Should I stay? Should I get out? Could I forgive her, or was this the kind of betrayal that broke any chance of trust ever coming back? I felt so lost, so betrayed, and honestly so angry that I wanted to physically hurt her for lying to me like this. I had never felt so stupid in my life. How could I have been so blind for so long? On top of that, I found out that Chris, the guy she was screwing, was not just some anonymous lover. No, it turns out he's her brother's best friend. I mean, what the actual hell? That info hit me like a punch to the chest. This wasn't just some random affair. It was intertwined with people I knew, people I trusted. I couldn't believe she had been so reckless, so stupid to do this with someone so close to my family. That added a whole new level of betrayal. It wasn't just about us anymore. It felt like my entire world had crumbled. I kept asking myself, how do I ever look at her the same way again? How do I even begin to trust anyone after this? The days that followed were a blur. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, and I kept replaying everything in my mind. How I'd been so blind, how she'd lied to my face. Every time I saw her, I felt this mixture of disgust and heartbreak. She kept trying to justify herself, calling me paranoid, saying I was crazy for even suspecting her. She insisted she loved me, that it was just a mistake, a moment of weakness. But her words sounded so hollow, so empty. I knew she was lying. She'd been lying for months, and those lies had finally caught up with her. I decided I needed to dig deeper. I started asking around, mutual friends, her family, anyone who might have known something. And what I found out was even worse. She'd been sneaking around before the honeymoon, probably right from the start. Apparently her boss, David, had been pressuring her for months, and she'd always told me it was just work stress. Yeah, right. And now I knew that she'd been screwing him during our honeymoon, which makes everything feel even more sickening. It wasn't just some fling, it was a full-blown affair, and she'd kept me in the dark the entire time. The shock turned into anger. How could she do this to me, to us? I started thinking about everything I'd ever done for her, how I'd worked hard, tried to make her happy, be there for her. And she just threw it all away for some meaningless sex, some thrill with her boss, a guy who's also her brother's best friend. That thought made me furious. She was so manipulative, so selfish. She lied daily, played the victim when I confronted her, and then turned around and cheated on me with someone I thought was a friend. I finally decided I couldn't stay silent anymore. I had to confront her again, but this time with a plan. No more denial, no more pretending she was innocent. I was going to get to the bottom of it once and for all. I arranged to meet her in a neutral place, her apartment actually, because I needed answers face to face. When I arrived, she was waiting with that same bitchy smirk. She knew she was caught, she knew I was angry. I felt the rage boiling inside me, and I was ready to tear her apart if that's what it took. I looked her right in the eyes and told her that I knew everything, not just about the affair, but also about her lies, her manipulations, and her betrayal. Her reaction. She tried to lie again, act innocent, claim I was overreacting, that I was just jealous. But I didn't buy it. I knew her game now. I saw through the little act she put on. There was no more denial. I was done. I didn't say what I was planning to do next. I just knew that I was at the point of no return. I had to figure out what my next move was, but one thing was clear. I wouldn't be staying with her. Not after this. Not after she'd shattered everything we had. In the days that followed that confrontation, everything felt like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I was stuck in this dark fog of betrayal, anger, and heartbreak. I couldn't believe I had married a woman capable of lying and cheating so blatantly, especially with someone so close, her boss, her brother's best friend. The thought of them together, sneaking around behind my back, made me sick. I kept asking myself what I did wrong, but deep down, I knew this wasn't about my faults. It was about her absolute disregard for our vows, for our life together. I started packing my things, not knowing if I wanted to stay or leave, but feeling like I had to remove myself from her toxic presence. I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of seeing me broken, but I was broken all the same. Every memory, every plan we made now seemed pointless. The trust was gone, shattered into a million pieces. How could I ever look at her again without feeling disgusted? How could I forgive her for screwing her boss, her brother's best friend, during what was supposed to be the happiest time of our lives? I also learned that her lies went deeper than I thought. She'd been lying about her whereabouts, about who she was meeting, even about her feelings. She tried convincing me her affair was just a mistake, a moment of weakness, but I saw through her bullshit. She lied about everything to keep her secret, to keep her options open. And now, all I saw was a woman who didn't care about me, about us, only about satisfying her own selfish needs. I decided I had to do something drastic. I contacted her brother, something I never thought I'd do, and told him everything I knew. I explained how Lisa had been cheating, how she'd been lying for months, and how her boss was not only her lover but also someone he knew well. The brother was furious, obviously. He called her right then and there, and I could hear her screaming on the other end, denying everything, calling me a liar, saying I was trying to ruin her. I didn't care. I felt a strange sense of relief that I finally had some proof, some way to end this nightmare. That night, I packed a bag and left. I didn't want to be around her or that toxic environment anymore. As I drove away, I felt a strange mix of sadness and anger. Sad because I lost the woman I thought I knew, and angry because she played me like a fool. I kept thinking about how I let myself be blind for so long, how I ignored all the signs. But I also knew that staying would mean accepting her lies and her betrayal, and I couldn't do that. I had to start over, rebuild my life from scratch, and learn how to trust myself again. Now I'm just trying to process everything, figure out what's next. I know I'll get through it, but damn, this hurts more than I ever thought possible. And what kills me most is knowing that I loved her. I genuinely loved her, and she threw it all away over some stupid affair. I guess sometimes people are just not who they pretend to be. That's the lesson I'll carry with me forever. Now, sitting here months later, I still can't shake the feeling of betrayal. It's like a scar that never fully heals. I used to think I knew who Lisa was, but now I realize I was just fooling myself. She was selfish, manipulative, and completely indifferent to my feelings. The worst part is knowing she lied to my face for so long, and I was blind to it because I loved her so much. That love, that trust, it's all broken now, and I don't know if I'll ever get it back. What I've learned from all this is that trust is fragile, so fragile that once it's shattered, It's almost impossible to piece it back together. I should have seen the signs, but I was too naive or too in love to notice. Now I see things clearly. I see how dangerous lies can be, especially when they come from someone you're supposed to trust with your life. I also learned that revenge doesn't always have to be grand or destructive. Sometimes, walking away and cutting ties is the only way to reclaim your dignity. I didn't want to play games or get even in some petty way. All I needed was to get out, to leave her behind, and focus on healing myself. Because you can't rebuild trust with someone who's lied so much that their words no longer mean anything. To anyone reading this who might be going through something similar, trust your instincts. Don't ignore the red flags because love can blind you. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them. Because in the end, your happiness and self-respect are worth more than any lie, any cheating, or any betrayal. I'm still hurting, but I know I'll be okay. I'm taking it one day at a time, learning to trust again, and reminding myself that I deserve someone who will love me honestly, not someone who's out there lying and cheating behind my back. That's what I take away from this mess. And that's what I want everyone else to remember.